Well, hello, Aries. I'm going to start out with you, and May is going to be an interesting month, to say the least. This isn't going to be the type of month where we went through in March. March was a rough month. It was a month that it seemed to just veer you off. It was like you'd turn one way and then you'd have to turn another way, and then you'd have to turn this way and then you'd have to turn that way. And it just seemed like a month where you didn't have any sort of direction. And then April was this like crazy month filled with Jupiter expanding anything and every idea that you have. And it didn't allow you to really hone down still what you needed to do in life. You planted a billion seeds, but you don't know if any of them are going to grow. You don't know what is going to manifest from these seeds. And so I really think that primarily, if you look at this energy correctly, this is going to be a very positive month for fine-tuning things. Now, as an Aries, you don't like to move slowly. You like to go 100 miles an hour. And Mars is moving in to Gemini on May 11th. And so this will make you much more passionate about quickly charging after something, maybe going off in this direction and then going off in that. It's gonna make it very hard for you not to be scattered in the focus of your energy. And so I want to point out the energy of this month because I want to make the most out of May, even though May looks to be a month of constant change. It's just a weird month. It's going to be worse for the poor Geminis. But for you, this energy seems to be kind of hitting in your second house. And your second house is the possessions you have, the things you value, what you build up to create security in your life. And for you, you're very good at having an idea and rocking it to the fullest extent. You plant your seeds. It's just the follow through that Aries always has problems on. And this is what I love about this energy for May in particular for Aries, is you don't get to not follow through. You just don't. Like, Saturn is going to be opposing all of this energy constantly throughout the month. And so it's not going to allow you to just plant something and then walk off and see if somebody else will attend to it. You have to attend to your own garden this time. So let's start out by covering just the basic things that are going to go on this month. May 1st, Mercury moves into Gemini, and it's going to stay there until July 8th. Now, one thing I truly love is when planets go home. They have the fullest power when they're sitting in their home. It's much like you. You're out in the world, you're doing your thing, you're magnetic, you're charming, but at home you're authentic. And so Mercury going home is authentically itself. Gemini feels authentic with this energy, and Mercury feels authentic in this energy. This is a great energy. Now, on May 11th, Mars enters Gemini. Your ruling planet enters Gemini until the 24th. This energy has definitely two vibrations. Now remember that Gemini is the sign of the twins. It's a dual energy. So we want to constantly work at maintaining the highest vibration of these energies at all times, which is going to be difficult when there's so much energy in Gemini. Geminis just have a really hard time focusing their energy, knowing where to go in their energy, knowing which direction to push all of their light toward. And so you are going to feel that because this is your ruler sitting in Gemini. And Gemini's going to get Mars all charged up about a million chasing things. And then Mars is going to want to go off and go after those things. And it's just not always ideal. I gotta say, it's going to make you sometimes feel a little bit chaotic and just a little bit volatile. I would say that Mars in this placement could be a very volatile placement for the month of May. Well, and into June, because it's there till the 24th of June. And so I want you to really keep a hold of yourself. Now, you have had your hand slapped by the Pluto-Uranus squares. You know by now that discipline in your life and structure in your life, even if you're just the youngest, sweetest Aries out there, you know that fine-tuning your energy and maintaining your energy source is super important for you to maximize your potential. You know this by now. You had the biggest hand slapping, I think, of us all the cardinal signs. And so when Mars goes into Gemini, there's two ways this energy can go. You can get a lot done in your life. You can make a lot of progress if you stay in tune with the higher vibration of a Gemini energy. In the lower vibration of this Gemini energy, you could find that you have diarrhea of the mouth more so than normal. And, you know, I hope this doesn't offend Aries. I have an Aries moon, and so I'm only talking about myself as well. Sometimes when Aries gets really, really passionate about things, they tend to have diarrhea of the mouth. They just say what's ever in their mind, and they just don't think about the ramifications. They don't even care how they say it, because to them, it's very blunt, it's very honest, it's very real. You guys are real. You don't think, you're like the little kids that walk up to people who are different from them and say something that a parent gets embarrassed about, and you just want to die because you're like, oh honey, you can't talk like that. You know, they're this nationality, or, you know, they are homeless, or you have to instruct these children. I think that a lot of times Aries has a tendency to have that diarrhea. Now, I don't want you to have diarrhea of the mouth. And you're going to have it with this energy if you get sucked into the low vibration. I warn you. I am warning you as your empath astrologer that this probably is going to manifest at some point in May for you. You're going to have to hold your tongue. Now, this is where it gets worse. On May 18th, we have Mercury goes into retrograde in Gemini, and then Mars is in Gemini. I want you to connect the dots with me. When this happens, this means that if something pisses you off, which, come on Aries, we know that a lot pisses you off. It just does. Communication is going to be ineffective. I mean, with Mercury in retrograde, there is no way for you to communicate effectively. Now, the thing that concerns me is this is in your second house. And all this energy is buzzing around in your second house. And when this is happening, I worry about how you stay focused in what you want. How you stay focused in achieving an ultimate goal. When you have Gemini in there pulling you in all different directions, making everything seem like a holy cow good idea. This is like two kids getting together and, you know, taking apart a VCR and, you know, seeing if you can manifest it into a robot. Yeah, it's a great concept. But you know what? You took your parents' VCR and now they don't have a VCR or a DVD. I just dated myself. I mean, DVD player. I know. I'm old. Anyhow, it's like that kind of energy. And so you're going to find that you're going to think it should be yours. You're going to know it should be yours. And if you don't get what you want, what you truly desire, what you think you should possess, what should be yours, you may have problems, Aries, keeping a lid on it with Mars in Gemini. That's my warning to you. Take it or leave it. Leave me nasty comments all you want to. But I say this just out of pure compassion for an Aries plight sometimes. Sometimes I know with my Aries moon that I don't think before I speak. It's not, trust me, on YouTube, I have learned that my mouth is my biggest downfall. It's my asset, but it's my downfall because I say it like it is too much, and people are like, well, that was just rude and too blunt, and you hurt my feelings. And I know Aries suffer from this plight. All Aries suffer from this plight. And so in this month, in the month of May, I hope you hear me when I say be quiet. Just sit on an idea for once. Just sit there and think about it and then move forward with the idea. We don't need to do it right now. You don't need to confront a situation. Mars doesn't need to go kick everybody's ass who pissed you off. You do not need to have a verbal confrontation, because what I fear from these energies this month is that fear-based or anger-based conversation is going to generate several misunderstandings. And I think what will end up happening is your words may be used as weapons more so than as effective communication. I'm nervous about that. So I want to go over the month of May really quick. I don't want these to be really long videos anymore. They're just too long. Anyhow, so on the 3rd we have a full moon in Scorpio, and this is going to be in your 8th house. Now, a full moon in Scorpio is a very, very emotional moon, and I know that Aries are very logical and can remain disconnected, but with Mars in the placement coming into the 11th, the energy is starting to build into that frenzy kind of feeling that Mars likes to get into sometimes. And so with this passionate Scorpio moon, you may find a secret's revealed to you. You may find that a financial obligation that you had a combined income, and maybe the financial situation is not going according to plan, and this is going to make you very upset. This is going to make you rethink an idea, and it's going to make you come up with a million ideas. Because remember, on May 1st, Mercury entered Gemini, and so you have a lot to think about. And this may pull you. With a moon in Scorpio, though, moons in Scorpio like to have control. They have to control the destiny of everything. And so this isn't going to be an ideal moon, to say the least. So just expect that kind of strange situation to come up on the 3rd. On the 6th, the Sun trines Pluto. I really like it when the Sun in Taurus trines Pluto in Capricorn. And the reason why I say this is because Taurus and Capricorn energy kind of think the same. And your Sun, your core, is working very well to stabilize your situation, to give you solid foot to stand on. And an Aries really, really does need that. At times they can be a very volatile people, and so having a solid footing just creates a lot less emotional waves for an Aries. So I find this to be a beautiful day. Then on the 7th, Venus moves into Cancer, and this is going to be in your 2nd house. Now, Venus moving into Cancer is a wonderful placement, because when Venus goes into Cancer, that means everything you truly love, your home, your partnerships, everything that you truly want to pour yourself into just feels more supported by the universe. And it's a beautiful, beautiful placement. It's going to make you feel much more loving. It's going to bring out the soft, tender side to the beautiful Aries. And when an Aries is awakened, if their sensitivity is awakened, they're just so beautiful to be around. I mean, they have to be the most beautiful people to be around. They're more fun. They're more energized. They want to go out there and they want to take on the world. And you've got all this, you know, this Mercury energy in Gemini. So you're going to want to be incredibly social. You're just going to feel good. Then on the 9th, Mercury squares Neptune. And I want to talk about when Mercury squares Neptune, because this energy is going to go on and off this month. A bunch of squaring off in Neptune. Neptune is this really dreamy planet that allows you to manifest your reality based on fantasy and dreams. It's a dreamy energy. It's almost it's what you used to believe in when you were young. If you used to believe that you were going to be an astronaut, that probably came from Neptune. Neptune just had this big dream of being an astronaut. And so you made up all these incredible fantasies in your head about being an astronaut, let's say. But it's squaring Mercury. And Mercury is very logical. So you have this wonderful, dreamy, spacey kind of energy just squaring off with Mercury, and Mercury's saying, that can't happen. You know, come on. Like, and here I'm going to tell you why. It's going to give you an emotional tug of war. And the reason why is because Neptune's sitting in Pisces, and Pisces is this really sensitive energy. You know, part of you is going to want to become much more in tune with the world, but then you got the logical part of you saying, well, I don't know if I believe in that. You know, that's just not reality. And you're going to have it on that day. Don't worry about it. The thing that I do see is that at the same time, you have Neptune in Pisces. It's going to be squaring Saturn as well. This suggests to me that anytime that Saturn goes in and starts squaring a bunch of stuff, that there's something past related that you need to be reflecting on based on your dreams, based on past hopes, based on, you know, how you used to be, how you used to believe about something. There is some really good news that this same day, the moon is going to be in Aquarius, and it's going to be trining Mercury. So I think all in all, this day is going to turn out really well if you just remember to just really manage your emotions and to focus on the positive parts of your emotions, and just to kind of try to detach from all of this emotional waves that Neptune is going to want to put you on. And then the 14th and the 15th, it's just going to be a very volatile day for all. Mars is going to square off with Saturn. And when Mars squares off with Saturn, it's a power play. These two are going at each other, and you've got the power, the warrior, being told what to do by Saturn. And Saturn it's just a big poop on the parade. Like, there's no fun when it comes to Saturn, especially if it's squaring you. And so Mars may be wanting to push forward with an idea, but Saturn's going to say, nope, you don't get to do that. You don't get to do that because I'm going to tell you why. And here's the reality of your situation. So grow up. That is what Saturn is going to be doing. And this is going to be a hostile couple of days, because let me tell you, your Sun is squaring Saturn. And Neptune and Pisces are squaring Saturn at the same time. So there's no way to escape. Your ego can't escape this. Your fantasies can't escape these couple days. And there's likely to be some volatility in some conversations during these 2 days, something regarding your past. Then on the 17th, there is a new moon in Taurus. And this is normally, I love sensitive Taurus earth energy. I like it. It usually means that you're going to be planting a bunch of seeds and you're going to be moving forward and there's going to be all this wonderful energy. However, I can't say this about this new moon. This new moon is opposed, heavily, heavily opposed by some very strict energy. Because Pluto in Capricorn, which is in retrograde, is going to be quincunxing Jupiter in Leo, and it's going to be quincunxing Mercury in Gemini. Quincunx are oppositions, but not just oppositions where you can kind of meet in the middle. They just flat ass oppose each other. They just don't want nothing to do with each other. And Pluto is up there at the top of this yod, and there's going to be a yod on this day, on the day of the new moon in Taurus, that is going to be the ruler of this energy. And Jupiter and Pluto have been going at it since April, and this is a power struggle between these two. And now Mercury is having a power struggle with Pluto. So there is something in your past. There is something that you have to figure out. Anytime there's a yod, it's a big question. It's a question in the universe about you're missing a piece to your puzzle, your personal journey puzzle. And anytime there's a yod, and this yod goes on all month and started in April in these same energies, which is kind of interesting. And so the way to unlock a yod, the way to get into the room where the answer to your question is held, is you have to unlock the sextile. You have to go in there and find a way to get in that room through the positive energy, not the negative quincunx energy, but through the positive, the sextile. And the positive energy in this yod that goes on all month is going to be between Jupiter in Leo and Mercury in Gemini. And I want to say that because there's so much that goes on in Mercury and Gemini, you're going to want to be really, really careful about trusting so much of the Gemini energy. I think the stable energy in this is going to be Jupiter and Leo. I think the Leo energy is going to work very well with this Gemini energy. And then I really truly believe it has something to do with creating stability in your life, like long-term stability. But there's something in your past that always prevents you from doing that. And you've got to figure out what that is. And that's on your new moon. On the 18th, Mercury retrogrades in Gemini. Now, I've talked a lot about Mercury retrogrades in the past, and basically it is when the planet just looks as though it's appearing to move backwards. And when this happens, everything kind of moves backwards with it. So it kind of goes in reverse in power and energy. So instead of Mars moving forward, Mars gets suppressed and has to look back all the time. And that's not a direction that, like, let's say a Mars energy goes. And so that's much the same with Gemini. Instead of Gemini, constantly talking and engaging and being out there and social, it asks you to don't talk. It asks you to think things through. It asks you to go back into your past, figure out if everything that you have been working on since the previous Mercury retrograde is going in the direction that you want it to. It's all about fine-tuning without communication. So you'll find that your communication devices, if you're trying to communicate, just stop working, just become ineffective, because there's no way for that energy to move forward when Mercury's in retrograde in Gemini. It's just a really hard energy to get past. I say go with strong energies. Let them guide you. If Mercury's in retrograde in Gemini and conversation is being halted by the universe, then I think you should be on board with what message that is trying to bring to you through meditation, through just staying at home, through focusing all of your energy on just being present. You find that people come back from your past. You find that that ideas from your past just suddenly seem to make more sense, and you can fine tune those energies from the past, and it's just a much more successful future for you than had you not pondered. I really enjoy anything in retrograde. Right now, Saturn's in retrograde, and right now, Pluto's in retrograde. We have a lot of malefic planets that are in retrograde right now, asking us to look at ourselves and what are we doing wrong. And that's what's going to be the theme this month as you look at your possessions in your life and you wonder, are you valuing yourself enough? Have you been in relationships in the past that, didn't value you? And if so, what part did you take in that? I'm seeing a lot of energy this month in partnerships, in how you achieve goals, in combined resources. For most people, it's just a very, very distinct energy that's telling you to fine-tune your life. Now, one thing I want to talk about before I go is just how much energy is crazy at the end of the month. After the 21st, all hell breaks loose in May. I don't even know how to describe it. All I'm going to tell you is that throughout the month, Neptune is in opposition of just about every major player. There is something that was based on an illusion in your life that is going to come forward in a big way in everybody's life in May. With communication halted, this seems to be something so deeply personal. This seems to be about something you do to stand in your own way. For Aries, I want to say it's that you define yourself through possession, since so much of this energy is in your second house and in your fourth house this month. I think that you try to achieve a certain amount of success by accumulating very fine things and spending a lot of money on just very specific things. You put a lot of energy there, but it seems to me like the energy should not be going there. There's something that you're missing deep within you. Some sort of connection with the universe, some sort of connection with spirit, God, whomever you hold dear, that you're not paying attention to. You're caught up in the material world, getting ahead. You've had breakdown. Now you want to move forward. You're done being poor. You're done having things taken from you. You're pushing forward, and it's ego-based. And I think when you were going through all of those Pluto-Uranus squares and your ego was broke down, I think there was a message there that you may have missed. And I think that's what the yacht is all about throughout this month, because I'm telling you. And the thing that I find most fascinating about this is that the yacht is so strong when all hell breaks loose. The yacht that I was talking to you about in Pluto and Capricorn and Jupiter and Leo, and then in Mercury, and this yacht holds the key. There's some sort of illusion that was involved with, so you couldn't see this energy. You couldn't see this powerful, it's like there's super fertilizer for your garden, but you have to decode a message to go find on the street that it's on. And once you get this super fertilizer, all the seeds that you planted in April is going to take off. But for some reason in May, you're not allowed to go forward because it's something with inside you that prevents you from even seeing that you need to go find that fertilizer. I hope that makes any kind of sense, because it's so hard to explain when I see so much opposition. Let me just tell you, Saturn opposes your sun. Saturn opposes Mars. Pluto opposes Venus. And the moon opposes Pluto. So your sun and moon, your sun is your ego, your moon is your emotions, It's being opposed by retrograde energy. It's saying, go back in your past because you're slipping. And I just kicked your ass trying to get you to figure this stuff out. And you're slipping backward. I need you to fine tune some things still. We're not done working. We're in class still. I'm not going to kick your butt like through the Pluto-Uranus squares, but we're not done yet. We're not done. It's powerful. It's from the 21st all the way to the very end of the month. It's opposition after opposition. There is no day that goes left. There's no great day at the end of the month. The beginning of the month, great. The end of the month, not so much. I gotta say. And so I really just want you to figure out your yod, figure out your issue, figure out your question, decode your message so that you can move forward and be happy for the rest of your life. Like, because there's so many areas that this key applies to, this secret question, this thing you've got to figure out. And it has to do with your home and family. And it has to do with how you accumulate things, how you value yourself, how you idealize things. All the Neptune energy is about idealizing and things that aren't, that is just a delusion. You're idealizing something that isn't true. And so it's going to pull out the secret to that. It's a very intense month, and I'm very sorry to bring it to you, but I am an honest astrologer. I'm not going to sit up here and say that we're through the Pluto-Uranus square, so everything is just going to be freaking wonderful. I encourage you to check in with my Facebook. I'm going to be working on it every single day and helping you guys manifest the most out of each day. I don't care how crazy it gets. I can find energy to focus on to get us through these days. I can work with you and we can do it together. There's a wonderful community building and that I'm very excited about. We're all there for each other. We all talk about what we're going through and we go through it together. The power is in numbers of people who are like-minded like you, who are spiritual-minded like you, that turn to astrology as some sort of guide to help you get through energy like this. Anyhow, I've missed making videos. I am so thankful to be back on screen, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful May, and tune into my Facebook if you need me. I'll see you next month.